Welcome back everyone for another battle, and today I'm going to steer away from the MLG Columbus 2011. Probably might be head there back once more, since there's at least a couple more matchups series that I want to take a look at that involve some big name players, and they were basically ignored by the big shoutcasting channels, and I think they deserve a bit more of attention. But for today I'm going to provide you guys with this single match, a ZVZ, between these two very well-renowned Zerg players from the North American side of the community. And well, I'm hoping for this matchup to be a nice lesson for all of us, a one-on-one on how to play ZVZ, and I'm expecting that based on the players involved. Spawning here on this top left position, we're gonna have FXOSheth. Already presented the guy on the previous series that I covered, the FXOSheth versus Dignitas show. And well, he's a Brood War veteran, he's quite a well-renowned and famous streamer at the moment, providing all of us with some really good content. And I'm hoping for him to show us his skill set when he faces here against this yellow Zerg, spawning on this top right position of the Shakuras Plateau. vileSpanshwa, member of Team Vile Gaming, one of the most creative Zerg players currently playing this game. And as you guys know, he was our guest on the latest GG Rated live show. He was kind enough and gentle enough to answer a lot of questions, also from the chat and from us, and explain to us where he's heading with his Ice Fisher build, what's the next evolution, what he's planning for his tournament scene, when he's gonna hit the tournament scene, and what are his expectations. He talked about a lot of stuff, shared a lot of his thoughts with us, and if you guys haven't watched that, go take a look at it. I think it's worth it. Now, following this matchup and hoping for it to be a nice lesson for all of us, we see here Spanishiwa going for spawning pool first and grabbing the gas. So I'm assuming he's gonna get that Zergling speed really fast and start hitting on Sheth's door pretty soon, while you see Sheth going for hatch first, meaning that he's not gonna be having a defense for a little while, and is he committing himself to a bit of a macro game economy. If he's able to stabilize that natural expo and be working out of 2 mineral lines, he will be able to put out a really nice production with some good income, but that will require him to be able to withstand the first wave of assault from Spanishiwa, because that seems to be the way that the players are heading. Here on Sheth's side, as you can see, the Overlord spotted everything. He knows that Spanishiwa is going spawning pool first, while here on Spanishiwa's side, he saw how late that spawning pool was, so he's just controlling this and knows that his opponent went for that expo first. So both players taking completely different paths, just ramifying their builds into completely opposite ways and showing us that there's several valid ways of opening a ZVZ. For now, we do see the first batch of Zerglings coming out here for Spanishiwa, and the answer by Sheth is getting a quick Roach Warren. Keep in mind that this Overlord is just gonna take notices of everything coming out on that ramp that gives access to the natural expo from Spanishiwa. And here he comes, the first group of Zerglings from Spanishiwa arriving on the natural expo from Sheth, but Sheth with some nice timed Zerglings had enough defenses to just shoo him away and show him that he will not be able to just enter the place and start wreaking havoc as he seems fit. Seems like that Sheth is gonna even try to poke and prod at some of these Spanishiwa units and shooing him away. So well defended there by Sheth, and now Sheth has his hatchery already finished. He needs to put out some workers. He's getting some roaches to be used as a proper counter to that Zergling force, while Spanishiwa grabs the hatchery on his natural expo as well and tries to keep the pace on the economy with what Sheth is doing. For now, Spanishiwa just entering here with his Zerglings, focusing his fire, sniping workers out of that mineral line. Very well played. Basically, he knows that Sheth will be ahead because he had 2 bases faster than Spanishiwa did, so he's trying to lower the worker count and balance the economy, even entering with a couple of Zerglings there to the main base of Sheth and taking notes on everything getting built. And at the same time, we do see Sheth just building more and more units, massing up quite a lot of Zerglings. And here on Spanishiwa's side, I think that Sheth has this Overlord that spotted, as you can see, what went on that natural expo. He is aware that Spanishiwa also grabbed his natural expo, and now another aggression here by Spanishiwa, focusing his fire on the workers once more, trying to put down the count as much as possible. And as you can see, Spanishiwa just able to lead the charge 24 against 19 at the moment by doing those snipes and harassing Sheth as much as possible to take the lead on the econ game. But still, both players taking completely and opposite directions on their builds. The Roaches making a nice line, a nice wall here, on this big large ramp, while on Sheth's side he's going for Baneling Nest. So seems like he might be planning ahead for any kind of bust. He might throw a lot of Banelings into this wall. I mean, the roaches will be able to get killed, but they will require plenty of Banelings. While on Spanishiwa's side, he's just getting an Evo Chamber. Inside his main base, he does have the Roach Warren as well, obviously, or he wouldn't have any roaches here on this line. But with this Evo Chamber, I'm assuming that he's taking the path of the upgrades for his roaches, so he's going to be ahead on the upgrades compared with the roaches from Sheth. But Sheth is just massing up units, getting a big army, and this might translate into an irresistible push by Sheth against Spanishiwa. Notice the count here, 27 Zerglings, 3 roaches against 9 roaches for Spanishiwa. So bigger army here by Sheth. Also keep in mind that Baneling's Nest on the back of his base, meaning that he might be preparing some kind of bust into that wall that Spanishiwa is trying to make with his roaches. At the same time, notice all the Overlords spread by Spanishiwa, spotting all of the areas where usually the units from Sheth pass, so he can have a way of reacting in due time. And Sheth basically doing the same, but to a less extent, with this Overlord noticing anything coming out of that ramp and controlling the Zenlaga Watchtower in the middle. So both players are aware that they need to take information out of their opponents to be at least a second ahead. That will be crucial. And we do see now Sheth advancing with his units. Spanishiwa knows that there's a bunch of Banelings advancing. He's gonna have to react and do something about it. He's trying to upgrade the hatchery into a lair on his natural expo, but will this be the time? Because let's take a look at the armies. As you can see, we have 11 roaches, 2 Zerglings against 50 Zerglings, 11 Banelings, 4 roaches. So Sheth seems to be tipping the scale on his favor here, and here comes the forces from Sheth. Zerglings on the front line, backed up by a second line of roaches, spewing acid into all of this roach force, and the Banelings now approaching and trying to get a nice position on the front to blast and explode on that roach faces. Ooh, Sheth is just slowly destroying the walls placed by Spanishiwa, and Spanishiwa even made a double wall there, but not enough. And now finally the lair is finished, but no chance here. Sheth has all of his forces wreaking havoc onto the mineral line of the natural export from Spanishiwa, and Spanishiwa's economy is getting completely wrecked, with even Zerglings climbing up that ramp and finishing the roaches that were coming out of the hatchery on the main base, forcing Spanishiwa to just leave this game with a big cry there, as you can see, and and the GG. And well, Sheth was able to actually take this victory with a completely different opening from what Spanishiwa did. Spanishiwa went more tech. As you can see, he was almost finishing his level 1 for his roaches, and he was basically assuming a defensive position after he sniped some workers on Sheth bases, and Sheth just went total out bonkers aggression after he had the production of those 2 hatcheries, putting out a lot of roaches, a lot of Banelings and Zerglings, and smashing its way towards Spanishiwa's bases. And well, there's the result. So well, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson provided to us by 2 of the top masters in the North American server. I see you guys tomorrow, gonna cast some other games. Have fun.